I was already worried about Hurricane Matthew, and the afternoon model runs just heightened that concern. At the time of writing, hurricane watches are in effect for parts of Florida. Residents from coastal Georgia, the Carolinas and the mid-Atlantic should also monitor the storm as they are within the cone of uncertainty for landfall or impacts. Our best weather models continue to shift Matthew's track westward, bringing Florida increasingly into play. The latest, as of time of writing, operational European model forecast even hints at landfall along the central Florida coast, but that is likely an outlier solution. It is important to keep in mind that it is just one model, but the GFS, American model, has also been trending west lately. It got my attention enough to call my dad, who lives along the eastern coast of Florida. Please note this is not the official forecast at this time. As of 5 p.m. the national hurricane forecast is presented above. Additionally, the ensembles have also shifted westward but still keep the track mostly over water, but still very close to Florida. A website explains ensembles. One ensemble forecast consists of 51 separate forecasts made by the same computer model, all activated from the same starting time. The starting conditions for each member of the ensemble are slightly different, and physical parameter values used also differ slightly. The differences between these ensemble members tend to grow as the forecasts progress, that is, as the forecast lead time increases. The takeaway message right now is that Florida is likely to experience impacts of some type irrespective of the ultimate track. Dr. Michael Vintras, a meteorologist with WSI/The Weather Company, told me, "Personally, I think we're going to see an impactful Florida landfall, putting area from Vero Beach up through Jacksonville at risk Thursday night into Friday." He also pointed out that the high probability cluster graphic, below, from CFUN was the first piece of evidence, Monday, that highlighted the Florida risk. This large swath of potential coastal impacts prompted me to explore the changes in coastal population along the East Coast. Many longtime residents are experienced with preparing for hurricanes, but a newer generation of coastal residents may not be. Take a look at what regions have experienced the most explosive growth, map below, in the coastal regions. Parts of Florida threatened by the new model guidance represent one of the most significant areas of coastal population growth. According to the U.S. National Ocean Service in the United States, counties directly on the shoreline constitute less than 10% of the total land area, not including Alaska, but account for 39% of the total population. From 1970 to 2010, the population of these counties increased by almost 40% and are projected to increase by an additional 10 million people or 8% by 2020. According to the U.S. National Ocean Service website, the population density of coastal shoreline counties is over 6 times greater than the corresponding inland counties. Dr. John Sculler wrote a 2015 commentary in the Washington Post Capitol Weather Gang entitled, "U.S. Coastline Vulnerability to Hurricanes is Growing to Unprecedented Levels." Sculler points out, since 2005, no Category 3 or stronger hurricane has made landfall in Florida or crossed any portion of the U.S. coastline. This ascribed landfall drought is raising preparedness concerns within the emergency management community. When I see a threat like Hurricane Matthew, it always makes me wonder if people really know what to do. Certainly there are residents that are experienced with preparation, but I also suspect there are a significant number of people that have moved to these coastal regions since 2005, which means they have not experienced or prepared for a major hurricane. To put it a different way, there are children 11 years old and younger living in coastal communities that have not experienced a major hurricane. Anyone that follows my writing at Forbes or watches the Weather Channel's Weather Geeks knows that I am a strong proponent of restraint with weather messaging. In other words, I do not like to see weather overhyped or celebrated. Hurricanes and tornadoes definitely scratch our fascination itch as weather enthusiasts or scholars, but they also kill people. I never cheer for storms. For these very reasons I hesitate to write this article with such a sense of urgency. In this case, However, I feel that as many credible voices as possible conveying the evolving threat is a good thing given the strong case of hurricane amnesia or complacency that may exist along the Florida and U.S. East Coast, respectively. It is important to have a plan and to be aware of the suggestions recommended in this outstanding graphic produced by the National Weather Service Miami.